Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Iyun, part of the Greater Yeshiva YouTube. Today we're analyzing Maaser Sheni Perek Dalid Mishnah Zayin. There's two cases in Mishnah Zayin. One relates to Maseches Maaser Sheni. The second does not relate to Maseches Maaser Sheni. It's talking about Maseches Kiddushin. It's mentioned Maseches Kiddushin. Hapoda Maaser Sheni v'lo kara shem. You apparently redeemed Maaser Sheni and you didn't kara shem. So what does it mean v'lo kara shem? So the Rav Avadia Bartuna says, "Lo Amar Zepid Yon Maaser Sheni," meaning you already separated the Maaser Sheni. You want to redeem it on a coin, so you don't say. You just take the coin. Apparently, you didn't say anything. I don't know. You don't say this coin is the pidyon of the Maaser Sheni fruits. You just set it aside and you move it. I don't know. Move it from one pocket to another pocket. You didn't do anything. That's good enough. It's nischalel. It's niftis. It's redeemed. Rabbi Yossi Omer die. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Sarach Lafar. You have to say this is in place of this. That's one case. I mean, possibly Rabbi Yossi. The second case. I mean, you're talking about getting married or getting divorced. Right? The Gemara in Kiddushin says they're talking about Indian and also Indian. They're not directly talking about getting divorced or married. They're talking about the properties that they're going to have to either give up or the woman will give to her husband upon the Kiddushin. And they didn't say, I'm giving you this money for Kedusha, I'm giving you the star for a get. Yossi Mardai, Yossi says it's enough. It's like he said, right? I'm being Makadesh you with this money, or I'm Megarish you with this get. You know, Sarach Lafarish, Judah says you have to Mefarish. We pass like Rabbi Yossi, the Gemara Kedusha and passing Rabbi Yossi. Now, the second case makes a lot of sense because there's an umdina, there's circumstantial evidence. They're talking about getting Kedusha. If he doesn't say this is Gite, Hariza Gite, he gives her a star get, it says it's a get, or he gives her money, we assume he, even though they say this is for Kiddushin, we assume it's for Kiddushin. It's an assumption, right? There's Amira and Asina by Kiddushin, but it's, circumstantial evidence could be like an Amira. However, the first case, if you don't say Harezet Pidyono, what are you doing? I mean, you have Maaser Sheni. Maaser Sheni, you already said is Maaser Sheni fruit now, and you have a coin. You don't say anything. So what? You move the coin from one end of the table to the other end. We assume that you move it next to the Maaser Sheni. What is the circumstantial evidence? It doesn't say what the circumstantial evidence is. So the Rash, brought by Tosas Yom Tov, he says we have to be talking about where they're talking about being Poda Maaser Sheni. It's the same as the Seifa, as the second case. It doesn't say that. I would like to offer a different explanation. The case is that Poda Maaser Sheni lo kara shem. Doesn't mean lo kara shem. Doesn't mean he didn't say is that pidyono. It's talking about when he's mafresh the Maaser Sheni. When he has a coin on him on the table, let's say, and he doesn't say Hareza Maaser Sheni. He's doing Trumas and Maaser. First you take off Truma Gdola, then you take off Maaser Rish. Eventually you take off Maaser Sheni. Instead of saying Maaser Sheni, right? He says with the coin next to him, Hareza. He doesn't say this is Maaser Sheni. He says Hareza Pidyono. Right, Harezet Pidyono. He says Harezet Pidyono, but he doesn't say this is Maaser Sheni. Look, Kara Shem is talking about taking of Trumas and Maasros. He didn't say this is Maaser Sheni. He took off something from his produce, but he says this what I'm taking off is niftis with this coin. He didn't call it Maaser Sheni. That's what's going on. He didn't call it Maaser Sheni. In that case, we assume only Maaser Sheni is the only Trumas and Maasros that you're redeeming on coins. You don't redeem Truma or Maaser Risha on coins. So then we could assume that's the circumstantial evidence because he has a coin here. And he's saying this what I'm taking off is nittis on this coin. So we assume what he took off was Maaser Sheni. He didn't go out of order. And that's similar to the case in the Seifa where we're talking about. They're talking about getting in Kiddushin, and he gives her money, right? They're not getting in Kiddushin. And, right, he doesn't say this is for Kiddushin, right? Now, he probably says Harayat Mikudeshali, but he doesn't say with this money, right? With this money. So we assume, right, based on the circumstance with this money. That's what it means in the ratio. There is circumstantial evidence. Not like the Rash says that we're talking about when they're daber aliske chuma or aliske Maaser Sheni. It's talking about look Kara Shem. He doesn't announce Maaser Sheni, but he does say he has to say something. He says this is niftis on this. So we assume what's the assumption? We assume what he took off was Maaser Sheni. I think that's the correct explanation of this Mishnah to make the ratio and the safe align. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.